Good morning. So today we are going to work on a fall project, and we're going to use some pretty fall colors, and we're going to make a little piece of harvest corn. Now I have the cutout for you attached to the assignment this week. I used some yarn as my dried leaves, but if you don't have yarn, that's okay. You can use pieces of construction paper and staple it to it when you're done. Or if you don't have either, that's okay. So what I've done is, here is our harvest corn. And our harvest corn is made up of all kinds of different colors, because as your corn dries, it goes from having all these really pretty yellow kernels to having multiple colors, just like our fall leaves. So today, what you're gonna need is your cutout, some scissors. You're gonna need 2 to 4 Q-tips, something to put your paint in, some yellow, some red, some orange, and some brown. So the first thing we're gonna do is we are going to cut out our piece of corn, just like that. Make sure you cut right on the lines, don't cut inside the lines. You can cut a little bit outside the lines, that's fine too. And if your edges are rough, that's okay, because in reality, corn is not smooth. It has rough edges. And see, I cut mine a little off anyway. All right, so that part's done. First thing we wanna do is start with some yellow paint, because our corn starts out as yellow. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my Q-tip, and this is what I'm gonna use as my paintbrush today. Now, what you're gonna do is you're just gonna dip it right in there in that paint and just make a bunch of dots all over your corn paper. Now, I'm not rubbing it back and forth. All I'm doing is making little dabs, just like that. It's okay to go back into your paint if you need to, and you really don't need a whole lot, because you get plenty on your Q-tip. Q-tips are a great little resource to paint with if you really don't have a paintbrush. It's easy. One thing that we often find around the house, it's good for a little activity out of the house. You can take it outside, easy to throw away instead of having to wash paintbrushes. Now, you can either throw this away and start with a whole brand new one, or you can use the other side. In class, I'm giving them 4 of these because it can tend to be messy, and sometimes kids come in with some nicer clothes, and I don't want them to get ruined. So now, I'm gonna add a little orange, because as our corn starts to dry up, it starts to change to all these colors. So I'm gonna do the same thing, and I'm going to dab it into my orange and just make little orange dabs all over my piece of corn. Oh, that one got away from me a little bit. So again, we're not rubbing the paper, we're just making dots. This is actually called stippling. So we are stippling the paper. This likes to stick to my paper. If you don't have Q-tips, if you don't have a paintbrush, you can use the tip of your finger. That's fine too. Okay. So this one's all done, so I'm gonna get rid of it. I'm gonna give myself some red. I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna repeat that step. Just all over You can do as many little dots as you want. Try to cover the majority of your paper with all of these dots though. It doesn't have to be necessarily more of one color or another, it's up to you. And then the last color I'm going to use, I'm going to repeat the same steps, or the same step over again with my brown. There we go, I'm all done, and you're all done with that part too. Now at this point, you can either take your pieces of your yarn or pieces, long strips of your brown construction paper. And then it just ends up stapled to your corn once it's dry. Now mine's still a little wet, so I'm not going to staple it on right this second, but I will just kind of hold it up and show you a little bit. There you go. There's your corn. Don't forget to upload a picture and show me. Hope you guys have a great Halloween. Bye guys.